because like in Australia, and I see a little bit of this in the legal cases I do. Like in Australia, there's no mandated rules on what organisations have to have. There are lots of guides and lots of recommendations, but there's no like across the board rule on these. This is how cybersecurity should look for every organisation. That just doesn't exist in Australia. But what does exist is lots of things around. Must have reasonable protections in place, and then the question is, all right, well, what is reasonable?
That is so frustrating.
Yeah, and that really comes down to like the organisation, what are they protecting, but also what are they like? What's their capabilities as well? Like if you're a multi like $10 million or $100 million company and doing poor investment in securing things, then yeah, you're going to like end up in court with an argument against someone at some point in time. And I think like that's what you have to look at from a reasonable perspective. Like, and there are lots of guides to help people secure systems, so people can't really go, oh, we didn't know that. Like there's stacks of publicity and free things out there to do that. But it really comes down to organisation size, what you're protecting, and then also what you can invest in as well.
I think it comes back to that one question is, do we feel safe? Do we feel like we're doing the right thing to protect our customers' data, the availability of our system or whatever that is in there? It doesn't matter what those alerts are, and that's where that tuning comes in. What is important to us? So that answer to that question depends on the system in question and depends on that issue in question, where, if it's one of your key systems, the one that contains the your patient's records, I think that should be a non-negotiable, that it should be a very high bar. That's what good enough is. If it's your website, defacing is not good for reputation. But if you had to choose, I think that you have a lower bar on that. So I think it really depends on your system. If a breach were to happen and then we were called to an inquiry, can we say hand on heart that yes, we've done all we can, sir? And if we can't answer that question, I don't think we've done enough.
Yeah.